Good morning, students. Today we are going to study Class 6 English, Unit 5, A Different Kind of School. A different kind of school. Today we are going to study about a different kind of school written by E.V. Lucas. So children, a different kind of school is written by E.V. Lucas. Let's move to the prose. I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school, but not till last week did the chance come to visit it. Here I means the narrator itself. The narrator is saying, the narrator is narrating this story. The narrator is saying that he had heard a lot about Miss Beam's school. So our narrator heard about Miss Beam's school. Here what is the meaning of great deal? Great deal means great extent. So the narrator is saying that he had heard a lot about Miss Beam's school, but he got a chance to visit the previous week. So he got that chance to visit it in the previous week. When I arrived there was no one inside but a girl of about 12. Her eyes were covered with a bandage and she was being led carefully between the flower beds by a little boy who was about 4 years younger. She stopped, and it looked like she asked him who had come. He seemed to be describing me to her, then they passed on. So, he saw a girl of about 12. Our narrator saw a girl of about 12. When the narrator reached the school, no one was there except a 12 years old girl. So when our narrator reached there, he doesn't see anyone, only a 12 years old girl. And her eyes were covered with a bandage. When he saw that girl, her eyes were covered with a bandage, and a 4 years old boy was guiding her between flower beds. She stopped and it looked like she asked him who had come. I think she asked to that boy. She stopped as if to ask who had come. He seemed to be describing me to her. It seemed that he explained the visitor's detail to her. That means that boy is explaining about me. Then they passed on. Miss Beam. Miss Beam was all that I had expected. Middle-aged, full of authority, yet kindly and understanding. So students, as per our narrator's expectations, Miss Beam was middle-aged, dominating nature, yet friendly and understanding. So according to, as per the narrator's expectation, Miss Beam was middle-aged, dominating nature, yet friendly and understanding. Her hair was beginning to turn grey. Her hair was turning grey, and she had the kind of plump figure that is likely to be comforting to a homesick child. That means she was fat and probably was trying to make a homesick child feel. I asked her some questions about her teaching methods. Our narrator asked to her about her teaching methods, which I had heard were simple. So, our narrator questioned her about the simple methods she used for teaching. Specialties. Student specialties in Miss Beam School. No more than is needed to help them to learn how to do things. Simple spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying and writing. So Miss Beam replied to our narrator, no help is needed for our children to do the things. They know how to do things. Simple spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying and writing skills. They know how to do things. The rest is done by reading to them and by interesting talks, during which they have to sit still and keep their hands quiet. There are practically no other lessons. So, Miss Beam replied to our narrator. The rest of the learning was done by reading to them and conducting interesting talks, during which they were supposed to sit silently without moving. Sit still means without moving. Except this, there were actually no other lessons. The real aim of the school. Miss Beam, Miss Beam told to him about the real aim of the school. The real aim of this school is not so much to teach thought as to teach thoughtfulness, kindness to others, and being responsible citizens. So, Miss Beam replied to him, our specialty, our real aim of our school is to teach thoughtfulness to the students, to make them sensibly kind and concerned towards others, to do their duties well, and, and being responsible citizens. Look out of the window a minute, will you? Then Miss Beam asked to our narrator. Then she asked me to look out of the window. The narrator went to the window side. I went to the window which overlooked a large garden and a playground at the back. What do you see? Miss Beam asked. So our narrator went to the window side. The narrator went to the window side and viewed a large garden and a playground. That time Miss Beam asked to him what he was able to see, what narrator had seen. I see some very beautiful grounds, I said, and a lot of jolly children. Miss Beam asked to our narrator what he had seen. Then he replied, I see some beautiful grounds, many cheerful children. It pains me though to see that they are not all so healthy and active looking. But he was sad to notice some children who were not very healthy and active. When I came in, I saw one poor little girl being led about. Narrator told to her, when I came here, I noticed a girl who had trouble with her eyes. She has some trouble with her eyes. Now I can see two more with the same difficulty. He replied to her, now I can see two more. Now I can see two more with the same kind of disability. And there is a girl with a crutch watching the others at play. He also noticed a girl with a crutch who was watching the other children at play. She seems to be a hopeless cripple. Cripple means disabled. Perhaps she was lame. About her students. Miss Beam laughed. Oh no, she said. She's not really lame. This is only her lame day. Our Miss Beam laughed and explained to him that she was not lame, rather, it was her lame day. The others are not blind either, it is only their blind day. The others are also not blind, but are observing their blind day. I must have looked very surprised, for she laughed again. She laughed again at my astonished look. Miss Beam laughed again at my astonished look. Explaining her system, Miss Beam's school system, to our narrator. This is a very important part of our system to make our children appreciate and understand misfortune. We make them share in misfortune too. Then she explained to our narrator, she explained that to make the children appreciate, accept and understand misfortune with the same mind as fortune, they have made such activities an essential part of the system. Each term, every child has one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one injured day, and one deaf day. Miss been told to me, each day every child is supposed to observe one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one injured day, and one dumb day. During the blind day, their eyes are bandaged absolutely and they are on their honor not to be. On that day, their eyes should be covered. On blind day, their eyes are blindfolded and they promise that day not to peep at all, and this is done overnight so that they wake up in a blind like condition and get help for everything they do. This means that they need help with everything. Other children have the duty to help and guide them. Other children are given the duty of helping them and leading them about. So, other children have the duty to help and guide them. They all learn so much this way, both the blind and the helpers. This way, both the blind and the helpers learn a lot of things. This is our important part of our school system. This is our system. Realize what misfortune is. There is no misery about it. Miss Beam continued. Misery means difficulty. There is no difficulty about it, she continued. Everyone is very kind and it is really something of a game. It's only a game. Everyone is very kind. Before the day is over, though, even the most thoughtless child realizes what misfortune is. So she continued, before the day is over, every student will learn what misfortune is. They will realize what misfortune is. Miss Beam further said that with this type of a game, even a very careless child learns to be responsible at the end of the day. The blind day is, of course, really the worst, but some of the children tell me that the dumb day is the most difficult. We cannot bandage the other we cannot bandage the children's mouths, so they really have to exercise their willpower. Miss Beam continued, no doubt, we know blind day was the worst, but according to some children, the dumb day was the most difficult as mouths could not be bandaged. The children had to use their willpower in that case. Come into the garden and see for yourself how the children feel about it. Then she took him to the garden to let him to watch the children and their feelings himself. And a girl. Miss Beam led me to one of the bandaged girls. Here's a gentleman come to talk to you, said Miss Beam and left us. So what happened? Miss Bean took the narrator to the bandage girls and she introduced the narrator to that girl and she left. Here is a gentleman come to talk to you. She told to that girl, here is a gentleman who came to talk to you and she left us. Don't you ever peep? I asked the girl. She exclaimed, that would be cheating. The narrator asked the girl if she never tried to look out. The girl replied, it would be cheating. But I had no idea it was so awful to be blind. What is the meaning of awful? Awful means bad. Then she said to me, before this experience, she never realized that being blind was that bad. You can't see a thing. You feel you're going to be hit by something every moment. It's such a relief just to sit down. She told to me one was not able to see anything, and at every step one fears of being hit by something. It's such a relief just to sit down. Just sitting down was a comfort. Asking about the specialties of students. Are your helpers kind to you? I asked. So our narrator asked her if her helpers were kind. Then her response was positive. But they are not as careful as I shall be when it is my turn. According to her, according to that girl, the intensity of help and care was lesser. Those that have been blind already are the best helpers. She would be a better helper during her turn. As per her statement, people who had experienced the blindness become better helpers. She told to him, those who had experienced the blindness become better helpers as they were able to understand the position. It's perfectly ghastly not to see. What is the meaning of ghastly? Ghastly means causing fear. The inability to see was scary and full of fear. It's perfectly ghastly not to see means the inability to see was scary and full of fear. I wish you would try. She wished he could give it a try. Shall I lend you anywhere? I asked. She wished he could give it a try. Then he asked her if he could show her the way and help her to go anywhere. She said, let's go for a little walk. So our little girl said to our narrator, let's go for a little walk. Only you must tell me about things. I shall be so glad when today is over. She told to him, you want to tell me the things around us? Then I shall be so glad when today is over. The other bad days can't be half as bad as this. She said that she would be full of joy once the day is over. She further said that even the bad days would be half as bad than to be blind. Having a leg tied up and hopping about on a crutch is almost fun. What is the meaning of crutch? Crutch means a long stick. In her opinion, other things were fun like to have a leg tied up and jump on a support. I guess having an arm tied up is a bit more troublesome because you can't eat without help and things like that. She said having an arm tied up was still annoying. Why? Because it was difficult to eat without help. I don't think I will mind being deaf for a day, at least not much. She said that she would not mind to be deaf for a day, but being blind is so frightening. My head aches all the time just from worrying that I will get hurt. She said that she would not mind to be deaf for a day, but being blind actually scared her. Being blind actually scared our little girl. It troubles her mind with the fear that she would get hurt. Where are we now? She asked to the narrator. Where are we now? Playground, I said. We were walking towards the house. Miss Beam is walking up and down the garden with a tall girl. Then she asked to me, where are we now? I said, in the playground. The narrator told her that they were in the playground and were walking towards the house. And Miss Beam was walking up and down the garden with a tall girl. What is the girl wearing? My little friend asked. Then the little girl asked your narrator what she is wearing. Then he replied, a blue cotton skirt and a pink blouse. Then she replied, I think it's Millie. Then she asked to our narrator, what color is her hair? Then he replied, very light. Then again she said, "That's Millie. She's our head girl." "There is an old man tying a process," said, "Yes, that's Peter." Then our narrator told to her, "There is an old man tying a process." That time she said, "That's our Peter. He's our gardener. He is hundreds of years old. He has hundreds of years old. And here comes a girl with curly red hair. She's on crutches. That's Anita," she said. Then our narrator told her, "And here comes a girl with curly red hair and she's on crutches." That time our little girl told to him, "That's Anita." So, with the help of some clues, she identified, the little girl identified the members. I was very sorry to go. And so we walked on. Gradually, I discovered that I was 10 times more thoughtful than I ever thought I could be. I also realized that if I had to describe people and things to someone else, it made them more interesting to me. When I finally had to leave, I told Miss Pinda I was very sorry to go. As she replied, "Then there is something in my system after all." Now our narrator realized that he became more thoughtful and sensitive towards the issues of disability and did not want to leave the place, but he had to go. Our Miss B proudly said that the system of her school was so special and unique that the visitors also feel so. I hope you understand the story. Thank you.